Hello everyone, we are live. What happened to my camera? I had this all perfect. You are not perfect. What happened to you that you are not? Man, now we gotta fix this. Nope, that's the wrong button. OBS drives me crazy sometimes with adjusting stuff. That is really, like, seriously, it was so perfect. I don't know. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Oh, we are starting out with a super, oh, say it quietly. The boys know. We've already got a super chat from Tessa. Do you boys want a super chat? You can come, you can stop licking your lips and come. It's okay, Wade. You get your super chat. Thank you, Tessa. Oh, this is why. I've got my card over here and it's blocking them, and that means apparently we're gonna be weirded out. Come on. Oh, you want me to bring it to you? Okay, here you go, Cal. I guess that's kind of easier, but he doesn't want to cross. I've got a box. So at the end of after the stream, actually a couple things before we get started on this project, after the stream, also, apparently it said that there was a $9.99 super chat from last week, but because I didn't live stream, it doesn't say who it was from. So I apologize, whoever that came from. Thank you. The boys, thank you. Trust me, they've gotten plenty of treats. You lay down, Gibson. But after we're done with the art project tonight, I will be showing you, we're going to do I say box opening, but I had to open the box so that I could get the Patreon stuff that needed to go out yesterday that I forgot to put in Matt's car, so it's going out tomorrow morning. But anyway, we've got that coming, so we're going to open that box and look at all of the stuff that came through Vistaprint. So those of you who get all of those rewards on Patreon, you get to see what's coming. I've also make sure to check out the link for the merch. We've got, this is one of my new sweatshirts. Actually, this is the one that washed badly, and you can kind of see in the back, no, you can't really tell. Some of the ink came off, which is perfect because the company that I use just gives you a new, like if that ever happens to you, you wash one of these sweatshirts, and that's with any company, should do this. If you ever wash one and sometimes the ink will come off, contact the manufacturer because they just sent me a new one. It came a couple days ago. I haven't washed it yet. I need to see how that one comes out. But the back of this one says, artist, noun, somebody, or someone who wonders if their paint palette judges their, no, I didn't even read that right. Someone who wonders if their paint palette secretly judges their color choices. That's what it was. So we've got lots of fun merch. There's another artist definition one in there. Someone who turns caffeine into masterpieces. A magical creature who turns caffeine into masterpieces. So those are in the merch shop now. I love this sweatshirt. It is so soft. And the thing that I'm liking about it is it's like, it's not stiff, it's loose. Sometimes I get them from the same place and they're more stiff. I really like how soft and like flowy this is. Gibson, why are you not laying down, sir? We also have, oh, lay down. Lay down if you want what's coming. We've got another super chat from Kirsten. Wade's like, really? Gibson's like, I just laid down. You're gonna lick your lips? Does that sound good? Do you think you want a super chat? I think that's a yes. Are we gonna, oh, we braved, we walked past the scary Vistaprint box. Oh, no, and backed up. Come on, Wade. You're going to have to come get it. There you go. Go, boys. Thank you, Kristen. Okay. Go lay down. Gibson, lay down. Oh, he crunched into a million pieces, and now he thinks he gets to eat them all individually off the floor. That is not how we're doing this, sir. Go lay down. That'll be fun to mop up tomorrow. So much slime and slobber. I guess it's the same. Anyway. So getting on to this project, we're working in Pastels for the like just getting the base layers, which makes things go way faster, and then I'll be doing colored pencil on top. The first thing that I did was take a piece of tracing paper and just trace the project. You can trace it straight off the computer monitor. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing happen a lot in beginner art groups is artists get in their head that if they don't freehand everything, they're not going to learn. It's actually the opposite. If you keep freehanding, and some of the work I'm seeing done in these beginner groups is, don't say the word, Lisa, just don't say it. We'll just say questionable. It's so off. Like it's not even close. The student's not learning anything from it because it's drawn so poorly. Trace it a few times. That doesn't mean that you, not being able to draw right now doesn't mean you're not going to be able to draw in the future if you take the right steps. Simply practicing drawing over and over again doesn't guarantee that you're going to improve. Unfortunately, what happens for a lot of us is those students, I say us, this wasn't my case, but a lot of students, I've seen this from teaching for 25 years. A lot of students will keep making the same mistakes over and over again so often that their brain starts to accept that look of being wrong and deformed as being correct, because that's what they're so used to seeing. Their brain is just like, yeah, that looks fine. And you look at, the average person would look at it and go, whoa, that is very deformed. Trace it. You will start to perfect your work so much more quickly than simply freehanding. And so what I talked about this in the email today. If you are signed up for my email list, you should be, because I give tips on that every week. But what I talked about was trace something a few times, then freehand it, then trace it a few times, then freehand it. This is going to speed up your skills in learning to draw better. And again, just because you don't draw well now doesn't mean that you don't have the potential, but you need to do the right steps. If you're simply, that's not to say you can't get good from freehanding, you just get better faster if you're mixing and tracing, because it forces you to notice details you wouldn't have otherwise noticed, and it forces you to see things correctly. So just a tip there. So anyway, for those of us who can already draw, I just traced it, and then I used transfer paper. I just slide a piece of transfer paper over there and drew right on top of my line art, and that's how I get my drawing underneath. So we can go ahead and take that off. But I would much, much, much rather see a student draw from something traced on their project than something they freehanded and it was a hot mess, because that hot mess is not going to improve once you start adding the color, whether it's colored pencil, pastels, or painting. It just isn't. So there we go. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with a background, and I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to start with where the white goes. And I've got my soft tool, which is dirty, but I've wiped most of it off. There's a little pink tint to it, but you're not going to notice much. I'm just going to lift some of my pan pastels there and figure out where I want these circles. So I want a light bit here. See, even that little bit of pink that was on there, you can't really tell over the gray. And I want this to be really soft, possibly a bit softer than what my reference photo is. And that reference photo, the link is in the video description. If you don't already have that, you can go pick that up. And I also cut my paper out. This is a 5x7. It is going, I'm working on Inktense Inktense. This is the smooth side. This will fit a 5x7 mat. So it's a little bit larger so that you'll see how that cuts off part of it. But I'm going to take my artwork all the way out to the edge. That way I can move the mat around as I need to, and I don't have like a bare spot that I missed. This will be a little bit of a lighter grayish green in there. We'll just slop that in there. Oh good, I've got my Spectrafix over here. You can see I can go over the wings a bit. I can still see what goes there, so it's not a big deal if I overlap that. And you can bid on this. The link is in the video description if you're within the US and you'd like to own this guy. If the noise is a bit weird in here, I actually have a window open. We're having, I think this is second false spring here in Texas. The weather is amazing, and so I'm just really enjoying the sound of the wind chimes outside and the window. Like, you can hear cars driving by. I don't know why. I associate that with spring. So, well, I guess just having the windows open for the first time in months. So I am really enjoying this, and that's why it might sound a little odd in here right now. Okay. Oh, we have from Rick said, the boys need an extra snack to make up for last week. Oh, they appreciate that. Do you guys want a super chat? You got a super chat from Rick. Thank you so much. That is so sweet, huh? We're going to spend the super chat money and go get some new treats this weekend, because I don't like these ones. They're almost gone, but they smell terrible. Like really natural ingredients, but they smell terrible. That's good? Okay, say thank you, Rick, and go lay down. Yes. Look at the camera. Tell him thank you. Good job. Now go lay down. Thanks again. Lay down. Lay down. Gibson. All the way. Gibson, lay down. I know brother's in the bed you want. I'm not going to fix it for you. Don't look at me. I'm not going to make him move. You should have laid down first if you wanted that one. Gibson, down. Gibson. We've been having, we go through phases. And I think it's just a sight hound thing. Sight hounds are really stubborn anyway, but we'll go through phases where Gibson gets to where he's like, I don't have to listen to anything you tell me. And so I have to start being a little bit more firm with him on like, when I tell you to lay down, I don't mean lay down and wander away, like go actually lay down. So we have to work on that a little bit. Somebody's been in his, I do what I want mood lately and completely not obeying anything I tell him, like anything. It's been an issue for a few days now. He's doing the same thing to Matt. Okay, so I'm going to mix a little bit of gray, a little bit of black. So if you hear me having to give Gibson extra commands and use a firmer voice, that is why. He's in a mood. So I've got this lighter gray where I've mixed, or kind of a medium gray, I've mixed my black with the gray itself. And I don't care if it's exact to the reference photo, I just want something nice and soft and out of focus, but I really liked the grays and greens. The reference photo was actually very bright, very bold green. I wanted something more gray. I love the combination of the hint of green on the flower stem with, and a little bit of green in the background with the gray. Another thing that reminds me of spring. I think of spring storms when like the wheat fields, you can see, which is funny because I have celiac disease, I shouldn't love wheat fields so much, but the look of that bright wheat field green and then the black and white or the storm clouds, so pretty, and that is what I'm going for here. I love that color combination. So again, I don't care if the shape is perfect with, you know, where the bouquet look is, I just care that I've got greens and grays in here. That is my goal. So the reference photo, I've already adjusted it for you if you're drawing along with me. If you downloaded this reference photo, I've already fixed that. This original photo came from Pixabay, I believe. I'll have to come back through with white there and fix that little shape. Just slopping that in there. Again, don't worry about this being perfect. I just really care that it's soft. To smooth some of that out in a moment. Let's pull in some of those greens. I think I'm going to keep that brush. I'm going to switch over to another dirty one because I'm probably going to pull back with the white and the gray just in case. So let's see. I'm going to use, this is the green oxide, I believe. Either of the greens really works. It doesn't matter. Yeah, chromium green oxide. I'll have to mix some gray into that because this is going to go down too bold, but that's fine for my initial layer. Okay, and let's take the white. Let's smooth some of that out. I'm just going to do little circles with this same brush, or soft tool I should say, to get that bouquet look all over. Make sure it goes all the way. I would rather this overlap the butterfly and the flowers than not quite touch it. This has to go over that. Probably come back through with a little bit more black, but let's get this in here and around those flowers. We've got another from Tessa said, we are seeing how long Mad Cow can be good. LOL, go Mad Cow. He's bad cow. He's not mad so much as the most stubborn bad cow in the history of all the cows. So let's start with that one. Do you guys want a super chat? Oh, look at how good he's trying to be. Come on, you get a super chat. Come. Actually, I was, story time, super impressed with the boys today. We went to feed them dinner and they have to lay in their beds and wait until I put the food out and then I give them the word clear to feed them. At the time, oh boy, so at the time they were, or I was telling Matt about I'm cleaning out the garage tomorrow is my big plan. Mourn for my back on that one. But okay, go boys, lay down, because you have another one coming. But they lay down. I gave them the word, I was talking about cleaning, and for some reason instead of saying clear, I said clean. I got to the CL portion of it, and they both jumped to get up, and they heard me say clean, and they laid back down like, nope, that's not the word. I was impressed, because I would have thought those words would be so close together, they'd be like, oh, close enough, we're getting dinner. No, they both laid down and waited, and they were so excited for dinner. So the fact that they knew the difference between clean and clear, I was kind of impressed with. Lay down. I only need a temporary lay down before you can get back up. Gibson, what are you doing now? Thank you so much, Tessa. I misread. Kathy gave another saying, jumping on the puppy feeding wagon. I misread that as jumping spider for some reason. Well, because I've been shopping for jumping spiders. Yeah, so that is where my brain is. Anyway, you guys want a super chat from Kathy? Yeah, come get your super chat. Come on. Oh, this is fun, huh? Yes, very fun. Okay. You guys are getting me, they're making up for me missing last week. Okay, go lay down. No, we're not licking the floor. Gibson, go lay down. If you spit it out, that's on you. Go lay down. Just chew it instead of spitting it out. Lay down. Cow. Everybody lays down. There we go. Thank you guys so much. Oh, just such good boys. Okay, back to work. Focus, Lisa. So we're going to get some little blotching in here with the green. I'll probably go back and forth just a bit with some of these colors. Now, when you do the bouquet look, try to do different sizes of the circles. Don't just do random polka dots everywhere that are spread out. You want them to overlap, and you also want different sizes. If they're all the same size, they look like polka dots. If they don't overlap, they look like polka dots. So that's important when you're, oh, that was really white. We'll tone that down. That's important when you're going for that bouquet look. Frankie asked if I'm feeling better. Yes, I am. Thank you. God, I was sick last week. Much better. Today's probably the best day I've had since I was sick last week. So yay. See how I'm just overlapping a bunch of these? Variation is such a big deal. Well, let's see when that mat gets put on there where we're at. Do I need to go? I think I'm going to pull a little bit darker in here, and then we'll move on to the subjects. Because most of the dark area gets cut off. So let's just pull a little back in. Moving that in little circles. I'm not worried about what the edges look like, just because, again, that is going to get covered. But I want to come back through and soften some of that out a bit. Oh, I think I like this. Let's see. Much better. Yeah, that will be great. Okay, on to filling in the subject. So I need a little pointy guy. Let's start, ooh, that has black. We'll keep that for the darker areas. Do I have another one of those? I don't think I do. Oh, I do, but I was using it for not the right thing. And don't you love when you have a tool, you remember using it for the wrong thing and putting it in the wrong place and thinking, oh, I won't forget that I put it there, except I don't remember where there was. Dang it. Okay. Let's use one of these little ones then. I'm going to flip this tool over. I'm just going to change out the soft tool. So with the soft tool sponges, where did I put it? Okay, how did I lose that? I just had it earlier because I just filled it up. There it is, found it. You want to get extras of the little covers. So I just keep them in one of these little, I think this was actually one of those boxes for thread or embroidery thread or something like that. I don't know. Come on, open up. Open. So you want I like to keep those so when I need to change color, those are always there and ready to go because you will run out in the most inconvenient times otherwise. So I'm going to start by doing this light. I'm going to mix that bright yellow and orange. Put that on pretty thick. And I'm mixing those two colors together. Luckily, the Pan Pastels are really opaque, so they cover that gray paper super well. And these are going to get more muted. I'm actually going to switch over to my, is that raw? I just dug my nail on there. Raw sienna, burnt sienna, raw sienna, burnt sienna. It was something. But it's a bit more muted. Let's mix a little gray in there to mute it up too. So see how this one is not nearly as bold. I'm going to pull a little bit of white in there. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those now. I'll be answering those at the end of the live stream. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my raw sienna, burnt sienna, whatever it was I determined that it was. And we need some brown right up in this area. And this one. And I need some red oxide right in here. So see, I'm not really worrying about details. I'm just getting them about where that goes. We'll clean everything up with colored pencils. And I'm going to switch over to my bright red and orange for this area. Let that just fade out. I can even pull a little bit of that in here too. And most of the rest of that I'm going to do with the colored pencils besides the black, and that I needed the point for. This is very similar to using a palette knife. So you're only going to get so much detail, but that's what we're going to come back through with those pencils and fix. So if you have a hard time controlling this, you'd be better off just wait and fill in those edges with, like the part I just did. If that seems too challenging, if you're having a hard time with that, wait and do that with a colored pencil. That's one of those things that does get easier with practice. Just going around the edges here. And Tessa is just spoiling these boys like crazy. Do you boys want another super chat from Tessa? Come on, come get your super chat. Thank you, Tessa. Oh, I've got the thing blocking you again. That is not convenient for you boys, is it? Do you want another super chat? Back up, back up, back up. There you go. Cow, don't bite me. He gets a little overzealous and gets a little chompy sometimes with getting those treats. Thank you, Tessa. Nope, don't get under the bag. Go lay down. Down, down. Gibson, wait. I know, there's a box there. It's scary. Go lay down. Gibson, Gibson, go lay down. Lay down. Oh, he is being terrible about not listening. Gibson! I apologize if clapping my hands sounded terrible on the thing. I knew he was going to be a challenge tonight during the stream because he's been so bad about not laying down when he's told lately. So yeah, that was, he's going to have some practice. And my practice is usually I just make them lay down, come to me, lay down, come, and we just do it over and over again until he's like, okay, fine, I'll start doing what you tell me again. But we need to actually do that tomorrow. Okay, so let's go back to the black. That is going to be messy. Let's turn this to the side. I'll have to clean that up with a pencil. Okay, and then the white, do I still have the, oh, no, I'm not going to worry about the white there. Oh, you know what I missed though, is the whole background in here. So let's come back to the grays and the greens. That brush will work. I've got to fill in this. That works. Okay, now let's go ahead and start filling in some of the flowers and the greens on here. I'm going to wipe the black off. I can probably just use the same brush. Actually, no, I'm not going to risk it. That's got black on it, and I'm going to be mixing yellow, and that's going to get muddier than I want. Look at him. Look at him sitting there staring at me now. He's like, I'm not going to lay down all the way like you told me to. I don't know. We're going to have to change you from the, what do I call, God, I have a million names for Gibson. He doesn't have a straight bad cow name, but he's the house horse and a racing noodle. Now you're going to be the bad racing noodle. Just not obeying. He's like, nope, I do what I want. Okay. So I'm going to start with some white where the white flowers go. Just block in where I want those to be. And it's not that I care that his head's not laying down. I just think it's funny because he's like, not doing what you told me. I think me thinking it's funny though is part of how he ends up in these moods where he's just not going to do what he's told, because I'm like, if I'm laughing about it, he's not taking it super seriously, so that probably doesn't help. Now, I will not deal with you laying there and huffing. I will boot you from here. Stop the huffing. That's his other thing he does. He's bored. He wants to go on a walk is what he wants. But he gets bored and he'll lay there. He'll get as close to me as he can and go, he'll just keep doing it over and over again. I'm like, dog, that is not going to get you whatever it is you're trying to get me to give you. Dogs are funny. Naughty Noodle. Oh my God, that is perfect. You're the Naughty Noodle. That is the best name for you, Gibson. Oh, Matt's going to think that's hilarious. Usually he's the good one. Like the normal thing I call him is my best boy. But he is not going with that the last few days. Man, naughtiest noodle. Did I tell you, Wade, how he has to wear the belly band because he marked in the house that time? It actually is embroidered that says the bad cow on it. I think that's funny. I wonder what the lady who I ordered it from thought. Okay, focus, Lisa. Let's get some of this violet in there. These flowers, for the most part, are pretty overexposed, so we're not doing a lot of shading on there. Throwing some on these guys, just getting that little bit of color in there. I'm surprised how this color is really accurate tonight. The camera likes these colors apparently. Okay, next I'm going to use the same brush, so it's that same pointy one, and I'm going to start loading up greens and yellows. Let's start with a brighter yellow. So this one, it's not really yellow, it's bright yellow green. And I keep sticking my finger in there. I think that needs some white mixed in. That's better. Oh, there is white here too that I'm missing. Do I have white? Let's see if you'll come out white enough. yeah, that worked. And we have another, Tessa says, for the bad noodle. Okay, bad one, you get a super chat. Look, you're being rewarded for your bad behavior. Okay, come. You get a super chat. Thank you, Tessa. Okay, there you go. See, thank you, Tessa. Okay, go lay down, lay down, lay down, lay down. I'm not taking your crap, naughty noodle. Oh, and then now it's the cow. Cow, go lay down. Everybody, lay down. Lay down, cow. And there, come on, lay down. Wade. He's like, oh no, she used my real name. That's how you know I'm in trouble. Gibson, lay down. Mr. Naughty Noodle. I love that. That's so perfect. Okay. So we're going to finish this up, and then we can start in with colored pencil. So we're almost to the colored pencil stage. So we've got darker greens in some of these. I'm going to do the shading on these. I'm not going to worry about that. The darker shadows I'll be doing with the colored pencil. So we have more greens here, and then as we move up, we've got more of that yellow-green. And this all gets cut off by the mat, so I'm not going to worry about that. I think that's good. I think that is, oh, let's do this with the black. Tessa says, with all those treats, they might get gassy. Yeah, I'm going to thank you in advance for that one. That will be the bad cow sleeps in my room with me. So yeah, I'll get to enjoy that. But thank you for the reminder. So later, if I'm like, why? Tessa is why. Okay, I think that's good. So we're going to stop at Itchy Nose. The joys of, see, fall spring number 1, or I think this is fall spring number 2 in Texas, is already causing the itchy allergy nose. Okay, no one cares. Move on. Spectrafix in a fine mist sprayer. If you spray it out of the normal Spectrafix bottle, the water, the droplets come out too big, and you end up with these hot spots that you have to go back and blend out. Fine mist sprayer avoids most of that. So I want to keep this at a distance. I move my tools over here and just lightly go over that. I'm going to do it a couple times. You should really only do it once, let it dry, once, let it dry. Going over it as fast as I am here is risky, but I do this often enough. I'm willing to risk it because I know how to fix it. And I'm going to dry that into shape. So this didn't just speed things up, it also made this dry into shape because the Canson Inktense is really floppy when it gets wet, and it will warp like crazy. And if you let it air dry, being that it's taped down, it'll mostly dry into shape, but not always 100%. Because I use the hair dryer, that dries it faster and makes it go completely flat, so you never know that it was warped. So that is why I am doing that there. Now I need to take a piece of glassine. We are going to tape this to the work. I'm going to start with the butterfly, and I've already got my black polychromos pencil. Oh, let me switch out my pencils for my pan pastels. Where's the lid? I have my pencils already out because I'm working on a colored pencil this week anyway. So they're just down here. Oof. I'm too old to bend down and pick things up off the floor. Okay, so we have lost that camera, and I'm actually going to turn that camera off because that may help the other one go smoother. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. And I need a white pencil. I think I want a Caran d'Ache, or no, I'm sorry, a Derwent Light Fast White, because that's going to be more opaque. Let me sharpen those pencils. I just use little handheld metal sharpeners for these. And I had my black, so let's go ahead and sharpen that too. And we need, I'm going to use some Caput Mortem. Actually, that's burnt carmine. That looks like a pretty good color. Being that I picked it up. So this is proof. I always say this. People get so worried about colors. I see this in a lot of the beginner groups. They will post something, and mostly, I see it mostly in the acrylic painting beginner group. I don't see it as often with colored pencil beginners, but most of them will start out, what's wrong with my color? What color should I have done different? The colors never, it is almost never the problem with whatever situation they're complaining about. It's their values. Well, one, they didn't draw it right. That is such a big deal. Make sure that base drawing is right. You will learn so much faster if you are tracing things than if you were freehanding something that looks not like what it's supposed to look like. But the other thing are their values. If their darks are not dark enough, it doesn't matter what colors you choose, or your lights aren't light enough. Like, you have to get those values in there. So we've got just the hint. I'm not going all the way down. See how I just am doing the hint here, and then it stops. Just mapping out where stuff is going to go. Some of these will go back over with black, but right now I'm just going to put in about where they go. I'm not worried if they're exact. Close is close enough. And then this I'm going to hold off on because that's got a whole bunch of shading and stuff that we're going to come back to. So for now, let's go ahead and put in where the white goes. And I'm going to push pretty hard with this so that I'm really burnishing. That really, I need to stand out. I'm doing the white first before I do the black colored pencil because I can take the black now and go around this and make those really clean. That's why I can be pretty messy right now. Actually, let me switch over and see if my Derwent drawing stands out better. Oh, you like this. Okay, we're going with that one for this. Sometimes the Derwent Light Fast will be more opaque, and sometimes Derwent Drawing. You would think it would always be Derwent Drawing, but it's really not. It depends on how many layers, what paper, like it just depends on tons of stuff. So that's why I'll try them both and see which one's working best for whatever situation I'm in. Look how much that like really shows up there. I'm just going to go around, dot the edges. Also, for jumping spider fans out there, I just talked to a breeder here local to me, well, Fort Worth, so she's like an hour away, but she has regal jumping spiders in white. I really want a white one, a big white floofy ball, so I need to convince Matt that he needs to drive down to Fort Worth so I can get myself a spider. So anyway, moral of that story, for those of you who like jumping spiders, I am going to take photos of that because I don't know if there's much cuter than a white fluffy jumping spider. My mom is cringing right now if she's watching. I didn't get a text, so she must not be watching. Look how pretty that, just this little bit of detail, how it already starts looking better. Now we've got a lot of definite white in here, so I'm going to draw some of these in. That one shifts to black. I'm not using black yet. I'm just going to keep with this. What is that I'm using? Burnt carmine. Something burnt carmine. Yeah, just burnt carmine. And I'm pushing really hard again with that white, but not with the other colors. The white's the one I really want to make sure is showing up. Okay. And then we have the white dots. Let's block those in. Now let's go ahead and I'm starting with black and cleaning some of this up. That's a nice, I'm using the polychromos because it's so nice and sharp. And I can push really hard and it will hold its point better than any other pencil because it being such a hard lead. Oops. Except when I break it, when I push a little too hard. So I'm coming around the edges and getting that shape. And I'm just pulling that shadow up a little bit. See, I can make the white really pop now because I can define that better. Oops. Do not restart computer. It's giving me one of those. It's time to restart for an update notices. Again, pushing hard, keeping that shape in there. Tessa says, this one's for you, Lisa. Let's keep her on the air. Thank you so much. Oh, they don't care. Look at, Gibson saw. He's like, you sounded happy. I get a treat. Fine, come get a super chat. Even though this one's for me, come. You can come get a super chat. Come. Thank you so much, Tessa. Here, I'll just hand it to you over there. Weird deja vu. Whoa, that hit me hard. That was a weird one. Like reaching over the thing with the dogs over there, giving them that weird. Go lay down. Lay down. I always like the theory. What are your guys' theory about deja vu? I've always liked the theory that it means you were at the right place at the right time, or like you were where you were supposed to be. I like that theory. I'm supposed to be live streaming. Well, while you guys are up, we also have another one from Rebecca Art. Do you guys want another Come here, come get another super chat, you spoiled boys. See, this is why you don't listen, because you get spoiled. Thank you guys so much. Okay. No, we're not going to lay here and lick the floor. You can come lick the floor after the live stream. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Things you didn't ever expect yourself to say ever in life. You can lick the floor after the live stream. Lay down, cow. Bad cow, lay down. Cow. Okay, thank you guys again. I'd have to say that without sounding too excited, or those two expect more. They're quite greedy. Okay, so pushing hard again, getting this nice and clean. Now this one had a little bit coming up with the lines and it gets out of focus, and then this one's much more in focus. This is why I put the white down first, so that I know where it goes and I don't accidentally go too dark right now. I can see where that is, because putting the white back over the black, it's not going to show up that well. If I needed it to, I could use Touch Up Texture Titanium White Mixture from Brush and Pencil. So it's not like I don't have an alternative if I really need the white to stand out, but it's easier if I just pay attention to what I'm doing in the first place. So putting the white down first, we'll do that. I'm just looking at that photo, going for close here. Now, if you want to go really exact and you want to get tons and tons and tons of detail, go larger. The bigger you go, the easier it's going to be to get a lot of little detail. When you try to force too much detail into something that's small, it usually ends up kind of looking a bit wonky. I mean, there are people who specialize in miniature art, and that's fine. That's not really what I'm talking about here. But when you, like just a normal art piece, when you are working smaller and you try to force in like every little line of fuzz on the wing or the body or whatever, you're not going to necessarily see that. So you just kind of get the hint of where everything goes. But if you like that level of detail, work on larger pieces. He kind of fades out. I'm going to leave his body a little bit blurry because that is blurry off in the distance. So we need to do a little bit more now in the shading here. This needs to get a lot darker. I need a, ooh. I am definitely using you. That is Deep Rose. Deep Rose looks like it's a broken Deep Rose. Deep Rose. Or purple would work too. You know, I don't feel like dealing with, you are clearly broken far inside of there. Where's my purple pencil? That will work, which is kind of a magenta type color. I'm going to use that to shade into the orange. And that's kind of my go-to. Anytime I have oranges or yellows, this is my go-to color for just, it looks so pretty up against oranges. You know, I don't have a lot of never do this or never do that rule. My almost never do is blending or trying to shade black into orange. If you can, or yellow, if you can avoid it, do magentas and purples. And right now I'm going back over this with that burnt carmine, so it's kind of a reddish magenta color. You do reds, or I'm sorry, purples and magentas instead of black. Black just gets muddy and greenish and it does not look good. I need a brighter red now. Ooh, that looks really red. Scarlet, yep, scarlet. Derwent Scarlet is such a nice, like an orangey red. It's actually very similar to the color of my sweatshirt. Merch is in the video description, by the way. New artist merch. I'm excited about it, can you tell? Well, the fact that I'm wearing it says something. I'm going to blend that red. I'm going to pull that red around here too. And let's see. I want some more. I'm using right now either my Caran d'Ache Luminance or my Derwent Light Fast because those are going to be more opaque, which is what I want for this. Except for this area that I want to be a little bit smoother, or softer transition. So I'm going to use that. Oh my gosh, why are my leads all broken? This is what happens if you have a pencil sharpener that is, you try to sharpen it and it like, actually this is a good example. See how it's sticking? I'm like trying to turn it and it's just catching. It's not coming out smooth. That is really dull. It needs to, well, be tossed. I need to grab a clean or a new sharpener. That one, the blade is so dull, it's breaking my lead. You look really dirty too. I don't think you're going to be much better. Oh, you're better, but you're not great. I need to go through. I mean, you've got a broken lead in you. You are not. You just need to be tossed. The Coom metal sharpeners are my absolute favorites. I've used a few different brands, and brands like, I mean, I like Faber-Castell, but there were sharpeners I didn't find lasted as long as the Coom. I don't know why. There we go. So this is my Amber Gold and Derwent Light Fast. It's kind of a yellowy gold or yellowy orange. where I want it to be a little bit softer, like lighten, but not too much. I'm just going to go over it lightly with my Faber-Castell because this is more translucent. So it works really well to just softly lighten it without being as bold as the pencils that have a higher wax content. I still need a burnt sienna type color. What do I have? Mars orange might work. No, you probably, no. Let's see. I don't think it's going to be dark enough. We'll find out. Yeah, that works. So a little bit of shading in here. And I'm going to use this for the underside of some of these shadows. And we have a few highlighted areas in there where the light is catching. Do I have sandstone? Yeah, this one's sandstone. That'll be good. Just a little bit of shading in here. It's kind of like a lighter version of the Mars orange, not quite so bright, but very, very similar. Looking through my hand, where are my pencils? There it is. There's the white I'm looking for. Just pulling a few more bits through here. And then I'm going to use that. Actually, no, we'll use black for the brown shading. I want to pull, nope, that is not black. Grab the wrong pencil. Too many pencils on my easel. I'm just going to pull a little bit of black up here, just a little bit of shading, and a little bit more on some of these lines. Not crazy. Actually, I don't need this at all anymore. We can get that out of the way. Now, he's got his little antenna, where he's drinking his, I think that's his tongue. We've got a leg in here. Another leg. Definitely a leg. Hope that's a leg. There we go. And I can use this sandstone to do a little bit of shading. Now these are very out of focus, so I'm not going to go crazy on here. I just want to get the hint of a little bit of color in some of these. I'll switch over to that yellow I used on the butterfly. Let's use the white and really highlight some of the edges of these. So we'll clean some up. Actually, I wonder if it'd be easier to do the shadows. That might make more sense for, it doesn't really matter if I do the highlights or the shadows first. It's just trying to think which is easier for you guys following along. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, for those shadows, I'm not going to jump straight to black. I'm first going to use my purple. This one is my Caran d'Ache, or I'm sorry, my Derwent Lightfast purple. And these, I don't have the exact same little buds in here as the reference photo. I just need to go for close. Just pick one and copy kind of how it looks, but I didn't take the time to make these exact. Loosely based on the reference photo at this point. And then I'll come back through with the black for the darkest bits. But it gives me a bit more dimension because I've got two shadow colors instead of just black. Just defining a little bit of those flowers, not too crazy. Those are mostly out of focus. Going to throw a few extra shadows in here. And I'm not even looking at the reference photo, I'm just looking at mine. What would look better if it got a little bit darker? And then we can come back through and do a few highlights there. And this is one of those areas, I just want the hint of a lot of those petals. We're not going super detailed there. Our butterfly is the closest, this area here is closest to the viewers of that, and actually some of these, we can make them a little bit crisper. And then especially here, we just really start going out of focus, although that, I don't think most of that shows up anyway once the mat goes on. You're about done. Wow, I thought this one would take a lot longer. So I can do a little bit more details then. If you've got questions, leave those now. I'll be answering those in just a moment. Well, after we do our box opening. Box opening that I've technically already partially opened. See, the plan was to open those last week, but I had to cancel, so. And I couldn't wait another week to open them and start getting caught up on Patreon postcards and prints and stickers. And then we can take the black just for a few. I don't want to go too dark on most of this. But I'm going to create a little bit more contrast just in a couple of areas. I want my purple to be my main shadow. There we go. I think that is it. And so when I sign it, also thank you, Tessa. I want to say, they're going to learn what your name means. I'm going to hold off on just a moment till I sign this. So to sign this, I want to first put down my mat so I know where that's going to be positioned. So I know where I want to sign that. Let's go off to this corner. If I didn't use that mat, I would naturally want to sign down here, but obviously the mat cuts that off. So when you're planning to mat it on your own and you want it to be a specific, like a standard size, that is important. Now this one is still available. I don't think there's been any bids on it, so you still have the chance to get this for $70 if you want one of my originals, and that will come in a black mat. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think we've got any bids on him. So let's show you. Ow. Ow, I just hurt my foot really bad. I kicked my easel. There is the finished piece. And again, oh, I love how this came out. This one may end up on my wall. I say that a lot, but this is definitely, well, they're usually that case if I say that. But you're looking at something more like that. When it's matted. I can't even that. There we go. That is more what we're looking at there. So very pretty. Really loving that one. Okay. Seriously, I thought that was going to take me a lot longer. I thought we'd be working on this for another half hour at least. Hold on, I need a drink of water. Yay, tasty water. Okay. So let's go with the first thing that came are the stickers. Actually, let's slide these. Let's do some rearranging. really hurt the top of my foot where I kicked the easel. And stickers. Let's see if I can arrange this in a, I don't even know how I'm going to arrange this. I should move this out of the way first. Okay. I should warn you guys, I don't think I've ever warned you, so I have an issue where, it's been an ongoing thing forever. My knees pop out of joint really easily, like stupidly easily. Like I bent over vacuuming with the vacuum hose thing and stood like, was bent like this, stood up like that, knee popped out of socket, or out of joint. So it happens to me a lot anytime I bend over or stand up, or if my leg's been up and I straighten it out. So if that ever happens and I'm suddenly like gasping in pain, just give me a minute. I can pop it back in myself. But if that, I was thinking about that the other day, like no one would know what was happening if that ever happened and they'd be overly worried. It's horribly painful, but I go through it often enough that I can get it back in. Like there's something wrong with the way my knees fit, and they bent. I'm able to get them back into socket all on my own. But if that ever happens and I'm like dying and breathing heavy, just give me a minute. It takes me a couple minutes sometimes to get it back into joint, but I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, one of these days I'm going to bend down to pick up those colored pencils and it's going to pop out. And I'm like, no one has any idea I have this issue and they're not going to know what's happening. So it's not something unusual for me. I'm actually surprised that it's never happened in a live stream. I try to be careful the way I'm moving. If I'm really careful, I can sometimes avoid it, but it's like when I'm not thinking about it that I'm more likely to have it happen. So anyway, if that ever happens, don't worry. I'll fix it after I'm done crying. So moving on. I just sent out the Patreon, they're sitting there. They were supposed to go out this morning and I forgot to put them in Matt's car. They're going out tomorrow morning, but the last batch, so they were December's that should have gone out in January. So the way Patreon works, it's weird. The way, because I've been with Patreon since 2014. And I didn't get paid until, people didn't pay right when they signed up. So they didn't get the items until a month late, and it's always been that way. But because it's always been that way in my case, because I've been with them so long, it always seems like I'm a month behind when I'm really not. I mean, right now I am, but no, not always. So the December postcards should have gone out in January. They're going out. That is late. And now I can start the February postcards that should have gone out January that should have gone out this month. I'll be getting those, but I've got to order another batch of these because I'm out of the envelopes. So those of you who are $19 or more, you get your mini prints, your postcard, and your sticker come in these fun envelopes, but I didn't realize I was out, so I didn't order more. But anyway, I'm glad to show you those. They're very cute, but I ran out. So first, let's start with, I'll show you what is going out. So those of you who are waiting for your December cards, you are getting the first batch. This is what I've opened. I haven't opened the rest of these. Okay, so for your postcards, these are anyone who is at the phthalo blue tier or higher, so $9 more a month. You've got the butterfly postcard. I'm loving how this came out. Like, seriously, look at how bold and vivid. Like, that's their Vista print. They do a good job. And then for the mini print this month, oh, that's upside down. Oh, you guys get a misprint. That means it's worth more, right? You have to flip it this way. I didn't even notice that's on the name. Anyway, your mini print's upside down. We're calling that a misprint. Or what do they call it? A variant or something when comic books have something that's slightly off. It's worth more. It's worth more. But anyway, you've got the mini owl or the little owl. So that is your mini print. And then your sticker for this month. And this is for those of you who are on the $19 and $22. What tier is that? Teal? I don't know, the highest tier. The sticker this month, I'm not going to be able to get that into focus. Well, there it's in focus, but you can't read it. It says artist, a magical creature that turns caffeine into masterpieces. So it's the same artist definition that's on one of the hoodies right now. So that is the pack that is coming. $9 or more a month, you guys get the postcard. And then those of you who are the top tier also get the mini print with the upside down thing on the back and the sticker. So that I've opened. The rest of this now is an actual box opening for me because I haven't seen the rest of these. So let's go with this one. I don't know what month this is for. Oh, I'm going to need scissors. Oh, wait, actually, I think I can use my little ceramic blade. Let's see if this cuts well enough. It does, I think. Ooh, it does. Huh. So the first one, and I'll be answering your questions after we open all of these. This one is a postcard from my digital painting of a hawk. This one is February, so this one will be going out in March. So there's, that printed so pretty. This was the digital painting. That lesson's over on Patreon right now too. Yay, I'm excited. Like that, God, the clarity. This is one of my favorite things too with digital painting. It's so perfect for prints because it's exactly what you painted, and that was really good if I do say so myself. I'm super happy with how that one came out. So yay. So that one's February. And then I don't know which cards or which mini prints go with which month, so I'm just going to go through the postcards first. Ooh, this one's good. Okay, wait, there's that one. I mean, I haven't opened it, but it should be good. Okay, there's that one. Okay. So this one is a postcard of the little owl. I don't know when that goes out. Is this next month? Or is this the one that I need to do now? Oh, that looks pretty on that. This one is January. So this one is the one that's going out this week. So right after, the color is so different because the one's on the matte print, and then this one, I really like how that looks on the postcard. That is so pretty. So these are January's that go out in February. So these are the ones, the next batch I'll be working on. Oh, that looks good. And then we have, is that, wait, just one more batch of those? No, that's the little owl. That's that one. Okay. So this is one I'm super excited to see what it looks like. It looks so good. This is March, so March goes out in April. Look how good that printed. Oh my gosh, that looks freaking amazing. Wow. Okay, sorry, I have to keep looking because it's one of my favorite paintings anyway, so to see it in print, like, oh, I'm seeing that for the first time. So all I'd seen before is, it shows me a little teeny tiny thumbnail, so that's the only part I had seen up till now. Oh my gosh, I'm excited about that. Like, so excited. That one's my favorite. I need to order some of those, probably just a batch of those to sell at Aquashella. Okay, next, let's do the other card, or the mini prints. So I've got you. Is that all of them? Yeah, because I ordered extra of the mini prints in that for Aquashella. The next mini print, let's see what this comes out like. Oh, that looks good. That is so clean. Oh my gosh, that looks better than the little owl. And I liked the little owl one too. That is, oh my gosh, super happy with that. So pretty. I'm not sure which month that's going to be for. I don't have these marked with the month, so I didn't do the back part of it upside down on that one. Not as valuable as the misprint. And then we have another, this one's in black and white. So the next mini print, come on, I can't grab it, hold on. I don't want to mess it up. Oh my gosh, fingers work. There we go. That looks good. And it's upside down. What is with these? That one too. Another, you get another more valuable print. If you flip it over, it's the right way if you do it that way. But here is the little long-tailed tit in graphite piece, which the black and white on this mat looks, because it looks like a graphite. It looks so good on these prints when they're in. Yeah, Rob said it's, and Rob would know, it's not a misprint, it's a variant cover. There we go. Variant back. The front part's right. That's what matters. And then we've got the last batch, which is the one I'm most anxious to see, but I'm pretty hopeful because it came out really good on the postcards. Let me get my dirty fingers on this because it's black and white again. There we go. Oh, wow. I'm just going to look at this and admire myself or my work. Look at how good that looks. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Like, wow, that is... And another, all of these printed, I'm going to look at Vistaprint. Like, it is weird that every single one almost is upside down, and I'm not sure why. Did they screw that up? I think they screwed that up. The great thing is, if they did screw it up and I ordered it correctly, they'll just reprint these and I have extras. And I'm not mad about it because I don't actually care that it's upside, like, it doesn't matter that it's upside down. It doesn't affect the front, but it's kind of funny, like, excuse me, sir, you were wrong. But anyway, I am like goosebump level excited about how good those printed. So those are coming soon. And the last batch, or last thing to show you, are the stickers. So I showed you the one. This one, I think these might actually show up better on the other camera. Where's my easel? So we have paint, paint, coffee, repeat with a little copper banded butterfly. That is really blurry. These are really, the print on these is super clean, super crisp, but it looks blurry on that camera for some reason. But yeah, that one was Matt's idea. Paint, 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 coffee, repeat. That is definitely me. So I'm assuming it's some of you guys too. What else do we have next? These are bagged weird. This one I was excited about. Ooh, it came out good too. It's the one with glitch and then the black and white. So it's this print here. It's a version of that anyway. But with the teal, like, it's going to look out of focus, unfortunately. But like, you can kind of see the line. You can't tell. This is like, the quality of print is super clean, super crisp. And it just does not look like it on any of these cameras. I can't like get close enough. If I get closer, it's out of focus. So my focus is right here. But it is like, oh, that one looks good. And then the last sticker, I don't even remember what I ordered. Oh, this one's good. Oh, that one came out good too. And I wish you could see the detail in these. I'm gonna have to post a photo somewhere because the detailing is really good. It's chicken with the magnolias and it says paint more stuff. Let's see, again, it's gonna be blurry, but you can kind of see a little, like the detail and the lines are so clean and so crisp. It looks really good. So those are for the top tier with Patreon. You've got your stickers will be coming too. So, and if you like to keep your postcards so that they're like in perfect condition, when you're on Patreon, the postcards they're postcards. They come sometimes kind of, you know, with stamps on the front and whatever the post office does to it, they're postcards. But if you're trying to keep them more in pristine condition, the top tier is great because they come in an envelope with your mini print and with your sticker, so they are much less likely to have any damage done to them, that's for sure. Okay, so we have our actual art questions now. We'll move over to, let's see. Oh, did I forget one? Or was that from before? Did I miss a Tessa super chat of $10? I might have. Oh, I'm sorry. And if you know, even if I didn't, I'm sorry, Tessa. Boys, it looks like Mom forgot a super chat. Like, no, you didn't. I'm asleep. You guys don't want a super chat? That's what I thought. Oh, hold on. Don't drool on those. Let's move those out of the way. I don't need puppy drool on the new prints. Say thank you, Tessa. Good boys. Good job. Eat the, see, look how obedient they are. I told them to eat a cookie and they ate a cookie. Okay, lay down, lay down, lay down, lay down. How many voices can I do it in? Gibson, do not walk towards the door, sir. Oh, he's being such a brat with, yeah, lay down. No, do what I want. Gibson, down. I don't know why clapping my hands works. They're like, oh, I'm serious now. I guess it's like saying their middle name. Okay. So on to questions. Fly Me to the Moon said, when tracing from the computer, I hold the canvas up to the monitor to make it the size I want, then trace it. Is that how you do it? I don't know if some of my tracings are. I will, well, it depends on what I'm doing. I will cut usually the tracing paper out to the size of my canvas, and then I make that fit whatever the image is. What you're doing would work just fine. I mean, I don't see why not. But I use the tracing paper, not a canvas itself, to hold up. Or like in this case, I just hold that up to the monitor because I knew this is the dimensions I needed, and then fit it within that. Laylee said, I have 24 polys, 12 Derwent Lightfast, and 40 luminance. I'm thinking of buying the 120 set of polys and 24 set of Derwent drawing. Any opinions from Lisa? Do it. You can't go wrong with any of those. Like, do it. I love my polychrome. I love all those brands. Like, you're just not going to go wrong with any of them. But yeah, the polychromos I use a lot. I love them for fine detail. So yes, I say do it. And I love the Derwent drawing pencils. That's like a must-have for me, especially because they're really cheap, which helps. Angel Marie said, could I ask for tips on pricing my 9x12 art pieces? I do not plan on being a full-time artist though, so I'm not sure if pricing should be different for someone who is not full-time. So here's the thing with art. I will occasionally see somebody selling something and it looks like they painted it with their feet, but they built a name for themselves and they may be able to make more than I can. I mean, okay, I built a name for myself too, so I can, it's not like I'm charging pennies, but like it's not simply about how good you are. That plays a role for sure, but it's really about how the marketing and the name you built for yourself matters. And if you're not going full time with it, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume you're probably not doing a ton of marketing and building a name for yourself. And that's really where getting that in, I mean, it's something you could do part-time and build a name for yourself on social media, but it's about building the name for yourself. I've not seen your work, so I can't say for certain. I've seen charts that were pretty cool that went by, like, if you've been painting or drawing for this long, charge this amount per square inch, and it gave some examples. It was kind of a neat little graph. If you've been drawing this long, charge this much. It's a general guideline, and it helps, I think, beginner artists to be more realistic about the fact that even if you're a beginner, whether you're a beginner and terrible or you're a beginner and good, you're a beginner and you probably didn't build a name for yourself yet. And so your work is just not going to sell for as much as somebody who has a recognizable name. I mean, I can name plenty of artists who I feel are, well, not even feel, it's not even an opinion, it's just a fact, they're terrible. They built a better name for themselves than I have. They have put the work in to build that recognition. I mean, heck, look at half the crap that ends up in museums and galleries at this point. We all know it's not good. Well, we also all know that it's actually a form of tax evasion, but that's a whole other issue. But I mean, most of the stuff like that is going for tons and tons of money, there's no skill involved in most of it. Oh my gosh, my friend was showing me, she went to a museum and she showed me some of the crap that was up. I mean, it's not even like it's good abstract. You can do abstract that is good. This is not good abstract. This is somebody painted it with their butt. Like, it's not even painting it with their feet. They took it a step further and painted it with their rear end, and it looked like it. Like, stuck, I'm not going to finish that. But it was really almost offensively bad. Like, seriously? And you're going for, $100,000 or whatever that artist thinks that is worth. And it's ridiculous. Again, tax evasion. But give me a better explanation. And people having bad taste is not it when it comes to that kind of money. So it's not as simple as how good you are or that you went full-time. What name did you build for yourself? Did you create a demand for your work? That takes skill all in its own. And there's a reason that you've heard the term starving artist. There's a reason that most artists don't do super well financially with their work because they didn't do the marketing side. They may have perfected the art. That art may be flawless and amazing and they can't get a sale because no one knows who they are. So, building the name for yourself is what's going to matter. There's no way for me to tell you, okay, a 9x12, sell it for $50 or sell it for $200 or sell it for $900. Well, first off, I obviously don't know the quality of your work. I don't know what name, I'm assuming you've not built a name for yourself. So you're probably, like, when no one knew who I was and I was doing, like, let's say I did a pet portrait, a headshot for a 9x12, I might sell it for 75 bucks. That was it. I was also only putting an hour of work into it. So, they weren't like amazing portraits, but I started charging more when I started putting more time into that. Now, that's not to say that if you're putting 40 hours of work into something that you should only sell it for $75. I don't know. I don't know what your work is, and I don't know what name you've built for yourself, but they go together. It's not simply once you're good enough, you can sell for a lot more money. There was, when I used to be on the Italian Greyhound forum, that forum doesn't exist anymore, so I don't feel bad talking about it, but I remember there being an artist, and she was not good at all, and she was doing pet portraits. And a friend of mine had bought pet portraits from me. She paid more to get from that girl. And I'm like, you can get it from me for less. It's not even about a friend discount. My full price is less than what this person was charging. And her work was terrible, and she was not building a name for herself. Yet people were willing to pay it. So, and I keep throwing things out there, and you're like, well, that sounds like you just contradicted yourself. Exactly. That is my point. I don't know. No one knows. It's weird to do with art. Now, that's not to say that that artist was getting a lot of commissions, but she sold a few. So that always shocked me. But, oh God, that's perfect. Moody wrote, an extra treat for Bad Cow and Huff Daddy. Oh my God, that is you, Gibson. You are so Huff Daddy. And he's over there huffing right now. Look at his head popped up. He's laying there huffing at me. So, oh, that is perfect. You boys want a super chat? Yeah, come get a super chat. Thank you, Moody Run. Oh my God, Huff Daddy. I have to make sure I tell Matt all of these. He's going to love it. What do we have? The Naughty Noodle and Huff Daddy now. There we go. Yeah, don't snoot on me. There you go. Go lay down. Go lay down. Thank you. Lay down. Down. Huff Daddy. Oh my God, that is so him. Down. Don't make me clap my hands. They're main hands. You know that. They're just like, meh, I don't know. Fine. Okay. Gibson moans. So yeah, as far as the price goes, unfortunately, there's not a really set way for me to do that. I don't recommend if you're putting, let's say you're putting 100 hours of work into a colored pencil piece. Don't sell it for $75. Like, I would rather keep the work than sell it for that amount. And that's honestly my point, or my thing about a lot of my work. My better work that I put time into, I mean, it's one thing if it's like the live stream art where I got it done pretty quickly. That's one thing. But something I put 40 hours into, I would rather hang on to it for 10 years till I find the right buyer than to sell it for $75 and somebody gets it and throws it in their closet because they don't value it that much since they didn't pay that much for it. So that's just me. Yeah, I don't know I don't know how helpful that is because there's not a really good set answer on that, especially with me not seeing what the work is or knowing what name you've built for yourself. But trying to get a following on social media is going to help. It's going to allow you to charge more. I've seen artists do really well building a following on like Instagram and then having a big drop, like art drop on Etsy, and people can go to Etsy and buy. And I think that in that case, like let's say you haven't built a lot of trust with your clients. So for me, you guys are used to seeing me on YouTube. You know me. That is really good for building trust, by the way, when people see you talk like I'm talking to you. So you know I'm a real person. You know what art I have available. You know that if I don't actually ship it to you, that looks really bad on me, and that is not a name I want to build for myself. Like, oh my gosh, that would be terrible. But so I've got that trust there. But if you've got a following on Instagram, but people don't like, you don't have that trust yet. You can have a following without a trust. You haven't built that yet. I think that's where Etsy makes people feel, not that I want to promote Etsy because I actually don't like a lot about that company, but I think that that's where Etsy makes people feel comfortable because they know like there's some buyer guarantee there that they might not feel as safe buying from your website if you don't have a good name for yourself. So that might be the one case where Etsy is worth having sales on. I know that isn't totally what you asked about, but I've seen artists do well doing that. So that might be an option for you too. Unfortunately, I can't give you an idea on the price because like a 9x12, when I was first starting, I'll just say I would range anywhere from $75 up to $450-ish, right around there, depending on how much work I put in. Is that right for you? I don't know. Also, that was 20 years ago. Inflation might make things different. And reception. Python said, would you recommend a regular long liner brush or a super long rigger brush for tiny details? Which is better? I like script liner brushes myself. That's just what I'm used to using. I've seen people do both. Whatever is easier for you, but I personally am used to using and comfortable with a long script liner brush. And that's the thing with painting with brushes. Once you get comfortable with painting, you can get just about any brush. You could paint an entire painting with one brush. I mean, you don't need to. Why put that? Why make it harder on yourself? But you get to the point where, I mean, I used to, when I would be painting, I would have 25 brushes out. I'm not kidding. I used to count how many I had to clean that day. 25, 30 brushes, easy. As I've gotten more comfortable with painting, now I'm like 3, 4, maybe 5 brushes will be out for an entire painting session because I don't need it. I would rather be lazy and not have to clean as many, but I don't need that. You get to where you can just get one brush. One filbert works for me like 10 brushes used to. You just get used to handling it. So I can't say one's better or the other. It's really what's comfortable for you. Python said, would you recommend to sketch every day if I can? 100%. The more you can, the better. I've seen people say this with varying degrees of aggression. Should I? I have the time right now. Oh, heck yeah, you've got the time. Absolutely. Like without a doubt, if you have the time, take advantage of that because we're not always going to have the time. And schedule it in to make sure you're sticking with it. Set a thing like, okay, every day, I've got the time right now, every day at 8 a.m. I don't wake up at 8 a.m., so I wouldn't say that. But let's say you're a crazy person who gets up at 8 a.m. I'm going to have my coffee, my tea, my water, whatever you like, and I'm going to draw for an hour. Even at 30 minutes, 10 minutes, any minutes, but you're going to draw. That is so helpful. And anyone can do that. Like even the 10-minute quick sketch, just a quick loose sketch to keep you like warmed up, I guess, keep you in the habit of drawing is really, really helpful. And that is going to be the case for anybody. Nick, insert Patreon plug here. So thank you, Nick. You saw what we get for Patreon with the box that we opened, all of your rewards, but even for as little as $6 a month, you get access to all, and I've got over 400 of them, all of my longer lessons. And I used to upload once every single week. Lately, I've been uploading more real-time videos that are extra long. So you're basically getting like 3 weeks worth into one. So sometimes I skip a week only because the next week is going to be 3 weeks worth. So you're technically getting more hours a month, but they're more involved. So no, tons of videos, $6 a month. You are not going to find a better deal than that. And these are not your little, look, paint and sip type lessons, which are fun. I'm not saying you shouldn't do those, but you're also not going to improve your art doing those. Like they're for fun, not for actual improving your art. My lessons are designed to actually help you improve your art, and they may feel too difficult at first because they're not paint and sip lessons, but they will help you to improve, and they're in tons of different mediums. They're, again, $400, $6 a month. That is a lot. We have, oh, for chicken. I'm not even saying it to the boys because this one's for chicken. Tess said, thank you so much. Said, super chat for chicken. Chicken is getting some extra treats. I don't know what I'm going to buy him. I'm going to buy him something. What does chicken want? Chicken wants millet or whatever dad is eating. That is what chicken wants. Doesn't matter if you put it in his dish. That's not what Matt is eating. Therefore, he doesn't want that. He wants what Matt is eating. Thank you, Tessa. They're looking at me. They're like, I heard her name. No, that one's for chicken. You guys are greedy. Let's see. Heather said, when is your next surreal work slated for? So on the drawing, my plan is my next, after the collie, I'm finishing that, and then I'm doing an acrylic painting of footsteps in the sand. They followed another lesson on YouTube and it was their third painting. So this artist definitely has potential, but there were so many problems with the painting, like, I can fix this. Let me help you. Let me show you what went wrong. So she's given me permission to go ahead and use her artwork to show you, and then I'm going to make a new video using my own. I'm not going to copy the lesson she did, but similar. I found reference photos already, and show you how to make that better, like how to take it from paint and sip lessons to a good painting. So for beginners too. So that's my next one. And then, yeah, I don't know what's next. I definitely want to jump into some surreal stuff really soon though, because that is my passion. I love doing weird stuff. Let's see. Nick said, I really enjoyed your reptile tank build. Thank you, Nick. My next one. So actually the owner, this is fun. The owner of Dubia.com, where I got the build, you can see it in the background. Well, the light looks terrible, but it's way overexposed. But where I got that enclosure from, the owner of Dubia.com said I sent it to him, and he said he really liked the video, and they are going to supply me with the next tank. So I'm also going to record. I've got to build my hognose, Matt's Western hognose. She needs an upgrade, so that'll be a different style, but that will be fun. I'm doing that, and I'm going to paint her for that video too, because I have a whole plan for this one. So I'm excited. Rick said, when transferring an image onto a drawing or painting surface, is it better to trace or use a grid method in the beginning? Would you recommend one over the other? Yes, tracing. Grid method, you can still learn to do things off. And I've seen people use the grid method year after year after year, and they never improved. And one of the problems with grid method, a lot of people have a tendency to follow the line of the square. So where something should be curved, they follow too much the square instead of curving. And I have seen this so many times from somebody who had poor drawing skills and were just dependent too much on that grid. Whereas the students that learn to trace, they learn to notice where things curve versus are more straightened out or where the details were. So grid method can help, but it can, I've seen that actually slow people's progression down. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the grid method myself. I've not seen, some people love it and some people do amazing work with it, but I have seen so many artists who have a tendency, like their work is almost too square looking because their brain is automatically trying to follow the harsh lines that are in that grid. Not everyone, some people do amazing work with grids, but yeah, no, I definitely am more a fan of teaching people to learn to freehand by tracing. I've seen way better results that way, way better results. And everyone's different. You're gonna have a one-off who just does better with a grid. That is totally fine. You've got to figure out what works best for you. Everybody's brain is different. But like statistically, overall, tracing, hands down. Ashley said, I just started using the regular Spectrafix, and when I get the blobs, I use a clean Viva paper towel and dab it off. It works pretty well because I can't avoid the stupid blobs. Yeah, I haven't been getting the blobs much lately, but oh God, I was getting it so bad initially, and I would just take my blending tool and blend right over it. Pharaoh said, could you use tracing paper again over the pan pastel to get your lines back? You can. Depending on how thick the pan pastel is on, it may not stick super well, but yeah, you could go over it again if you needed to. Let's see, how do you choose what color matte to use? I just go basic and black. If I'm doing something for myself or my own home, I'm maybe a little bit more picky. I lied, I'm not, I go with black all the time. But let's say I was fancy. I might be a little bit more picky and go with like a dark olive green instead of black, because that would work too. I recommend when somebody buys art and they're having it framed or matted themselves, take the art with you to the store and try it on with different mats to see what color looks best, because different colors of mats will pull out different colors. But for me, because I'm selling it, I don't know what's in your house. I don't know what looks good. Black looks good with almost everything. Occasionally white will look better, so sometimes I go with white, but normally I just buy a big pack of black mats and I use it for everything because it's a pretty safe way to go. Let's see. Heather said, I don't know how to say it. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and I have multiple joints that do that. No fun. I've not, wait, is that the one, the author of The Fourth Wing? She has something and hers is way more extreme than what mine is. Like everything's popping out of joint with her. She's got a lot, like it's way harder than what, mine is mostly just my knees. Everything, like my joints are bendy and as a whole, but I've never, yeah, my knees are all I've ever had that. I'm saying mostly, no, that is all I've ever had pop out of joint, but that sucks. That sounds way worse. I'm sorry. I have sympathy for you just from knowing how it is with my knees. Let's see. Audrey said, do you spray your pastel and colored pencils with any kind of varnish? If so, what brand? So for pan pastels, I've already sprayed them with my Spectrafix, and that should be linked in the video description. That is what, and I use that in the Fine Mist sprayer. If I'm working on a hot press watercolor paper, like the portrait I'm doing of George, I'll show you guys this one so you can see where he's at right now. He looks really good. This is on hot press watercolor paper. So he's a big one. But with that level of detail, when I'm getting things really smooth and I'm doing the hot press watercolor paper, I love that paper for this, but I'm not going to seal it with anything. It doesn't need to be sealed. It needs to be framed behind glass. Let's see. If I'm working with powder blender and I'm working on sanded paper, then I'm going to use, see, that's how I make my knee pop out. I sit on my leg with it, one leg under me. I need to stop doing that during live streams. But if I use powder blender on sanded paper, I use the brush and pencil. They have a final fixative. That's what I use for that. So it just depends on what I'm using. But like hot press watercolor paper, no sealer, doesn't need it. If I'm working on Inktense Me10s with just colored pencil, no sealer, doesn't need it. If I'm using pan pastel, Spectrafix. So that's my, like, how to decide what sealer or fixative I need. So I'm running out of questions here. If you guys have questions, send them in. Otherwise, we're going to sit here and stare at each other awkwardly. Or I'm going to stop the live stream early and start cleaning my garage. Save me. Actually, I'd say save me, but I'm really anxious to get started. So, you know, I might have a slightly obsessive personality. Once I decide I want to do something, I obsessively think about it. Like cleaning a garage, because that's normal. Let's see. Okay, so they were listing. Okay, I'm thinking of something else for a rigger brush. That is also called a liner brush. Okay, I was thinking of something else. I'm thinking of a dagger brush. I'm mixing up dagger brush and rigger brush, sorry. Yeah, rigger brush is, because I never call it that. That's probably why I'm mixing them up. Rigger brush is a strip liner brush. They're listed as the same. I'm not sure that there is a difference. You're right. Rigger brush has much longer hair than other types. Yeah, but a script liner is what we normally call it. So, okay, I'm thinking a dagger brush. So where it's like a long angle, it kind of comes up and it's long and then down. So it's like a weird shaped triangle. I had those mixed up. So I apologize there. No, yeah, whoops. I sound like a genius. I mean, what I said about brushes is still the same, but yeah, I've got those mixed up. Stephanie said, how can I come up with new ideas for subjects for my art? Not surreal, but not the same old landscapes, florals, etc. I want my art to be noticed, not just, oh, that's nice. Lighting. It doesn't even matter what subject you paint if your lighting is interesting. Now, if you go on, not that I recommend anyone use Facebook because I hate Facebook, but you know, I have to use it. If you go to my Facebook page, look at my, pull up the email. It always links whatever the email is. And you should be able to like figure out where to go to find my old emails. My email from 2 or 3 weeks ago, I showed a photo of a branch where it was, hold on, we got time. I bet I can pull it up here. Wait, can I get onto my Facebook here? Let me see. Let's see. Facebook. Am I logged in? Because I don't know what my password is. Okay, good. I'm logged in. Oh, there's a lot of messages. It's probably all spam. Let me see if I can find that photo really quick because I should be able to save it. It'll be kind of blurry, but it will get the point across. Oh, that didn't work that way I wanted. Posts. That's what I want. And rescheduled that one. I think it's this one. Yep. Open image in new tab. Whoops, that is not what I meant to do. Go back, hit a wrong button. Open image in new tab. Save image. Save. And pull up. Let's go browse. You open. Okay, show it. Oh God, that's tiny. Stop at OBS. Why do you make it so difficult to drag something? Okay. Can you let me like move just this? Look at these two branches. Same exact subject. Look how much more interesting the one is, and all that is a flashlight. Not a flashlight, it's actually my stun gun, again. But it's my stun gun shining on the, if you've seen my reptile, my bearded dragon build, you know, you get the stun gun where that came from. But one of them is just regular light shining above, same camera, same everything, but one of them, all I did was turn off the bathroom light. I took this on my bathroom counter. That's not weird. And pointed my flashlight stun gun at so I've got that really strong shadow there, and look at the difference. Look at how interesting that is. If I painted the one on the right, you would be like, that's the left. Wait, I could actually point it on the screen. There, this one, paint this one, the one on the, well, it's my right. I don't know if that's your left. But if I painted that one, how striking is that? And it's a freaking branch. But it's like that has that wow factor. It doesn't matter what medium I do that in, especially if I get that reflection underneath the branch, like all of it. Look how pretty that is, and how, heck, even the background. Look at the line that goes in the background. That's the backsplash on my bathroom counter. That's not weird. It's in your imagination. But look at that line. How, I mean, if I lowered that to where it was at the two, you know, in thirds of the piece, so it would need to be lowered a little bit. I'm following the rule. If there's like, that is stunning. It's a freaking branch, and it's all about the lighting. It doesn't matter. So you want to make your work look better, but you're not necessarily looking for, stop it. Why are you being weird to me, OBS? You don't want it to be boring. Don't do boring lighting. do interesting, strong lighting. If you're doing outdoor lighting and you're taking landscape photos, early morning, late afternoon where the sun is really low in the sky, that is going to give you the most striking lighting every single time. When it's midday lighting, that's that branch. That's the branch with the full bathroom lights on. That's not weird at all. It's just a branch on a bathroom counter. You do that lower, the sun coming from one area or another, that is what's going to set your work apart from everybody else's. Interesting lighting. I mean, even like my butterfly today, it's not super interesting lighting. It's pretty, but it's not like, oh my God, wow. That lighting is going to make all the difference in the world in your work, and that is one of the biggest things you can do to improve no matter what subject. You could paint a spoon. You get interesting lighting, that spoon is stunning. So there we go. Let's see. Where was I? Angel Marie said, thank you. I have posted on your MeWe art page, but as you mentioned, I've not made a name for myself. I want to hear a general idea of pricing. Thank you again. Yeah, and I understand the question about pricing. I question the pricing. This is going to be something you do for the rest of your life. The easiest thing you can do, find somebody who has a name about where yours is. So if you don't have a name, somebody else who doesn't have a name. What is their stuff selling for? Find them on Etsy, find them on eBay, find their website, look at their website, look at them on social media. Are they getting sales? Like if you can figure out if they've made sales on Etsy or whatever. I say Etsy, and again, I'm not trying to promote Etsy. I don't like Etsy. I like to buy stuff on Etsy, but as a user, I don't personally sell stuff there. But find stuff, and if they're selling it, how much are they selling it for? That I think can give you a good baseline for what you can probably ask. But you have artists too, like I knew a woman who had I don't want to say she built a big name for herself, but I mean, it's okay. And she drew a portrait of a random baby, but it was a baby she knew, so she was attached to it. She was trying to sell it for $10,000 because she was emotionally attached to it. Like, don't be weird. You just look weird at that point. It's not that big. It's not that good. I mean, it's okay, but it's not like, you don't have the name for it and the quality isn't there. Like neither one of the things fit $10,000. So just because somebody is asking a certain price doesn't mean that's what that would ever sell for in any non-delusional world. So check, make sure that they are getting the sales at those prices. Let's see. Noctis Gamma, do you have any tips for not overworking a piece? Yeah, in most mediums, it's not a thing. Slightly hot take there, I guess. Okay, watercolor, absolutely a thing. Colored pencil, sort of a thing in that if you push too hard too soon, we could call that overworking it, so you can't get a lot of details later. But any other medium, acrylic painting. I keep seeing this in the acrylic painting group. Overworking it, and people going, oh, don't overwork it. It's terrible right now. You can't overwork it because it's not going to get worse. Like if it's not good yet, if you're not happy with how it looks, and that's why you keep working on it because you're not happy with how it looks, even if it got worse for a layer, layer over it. It's acrylics, layer until it looks good. You're not going to overwork it. If you hit a point, you're like, oh, I liked it better before, but it wasn't finished before. So it doesn't matter if it was better before. Like it makes no difference. It wasn't done. If nothing else, let's say you made a layer and it looked terrible. Good, you learned something. If you hit a point and you're like, I don't really love it, but I'm afraid to overwork it, so I'm not going to finish it. It's not finished. You learned nothing. You accomplished nothing. It's not done. Yay, it can take up space in your closet. Congratulations, you accomplished nothing because you didn't want to overwork it. Overworking in a few mediums, we could say with oils, you could overblend something that's still wet where you need to let it set and dry. But let's say you overworked something in oils. So this term I think means something different for each medium. In oils, you keep blending and you overblend and you made mud. Let it dry and do it again. That is your solution there. But with oils, it's like make a couple brush strokes to blend, stop, let it dry. If it starts to blend in oils where you start putting paint down and it's just turning into mud, stop, let it dry, come back the next day. Well, depending on which mixing medium you use, you may have to wait longer than that. Acrylics, overworking it, not a thing. Now, you could overblend, blending wet into a dry area the way that we do certain blending techniques. You could overdo the blending for that area. Worst case scenario, you let it dry and you do it again. Nothing's ruined. Watercolor, you overwork it, you can ruin some stuff. And because of the way that it builds in translucent layers, it's not something you could necessarily easily fix. So watercolor artist, you own the term overworking because it's a thing. But acrylics, not really a thing. Colored pencil, like you kept adding layers and it got worse. If it wasn't good enough for you to stop back here and you overworked it by continuing to go, it wasn't good enough here. What difference does it make if it got worse here? It's still either stage is not good. You weren't happy with it. That's why you kept working. And now it's not good. It's not good. What's the difference? Other than not good over here where you overworked, you learned what not to do. You learned something from that. You stop over here where it's not good or not finished and you didn't love it, but you stopped because you don't want to overwork or mess it up. You didn't learn anything. This one, maybe it did get worse, but you learned something. Therefore, way better. This is of more value. So this idea of overworking, here's the thing. Beginners love giving other beginners advice. And there are a lot of beginners that are art teachers on YouTube. Okay, they are art teachers. I shouldn't be snotty. They're teaching art. They are an art teacher. They're just not terribly skilled. And they're beginners themselves. Some of them have been beginners for 20 years because they don't do anything but beginner stuff. That doesn't mean that they are advanced. They're still teaching. Doesn't matter if they paid it 20 years. If they're only teaching and they're only producing beginner work on their own, they are a beginner. I don't care if they've been doing it forever. But they have a tendency, like the people who are obsessed with the beginner, like I'm in some groups. Let me tell you the advice. They like to regurgitate advice that they don't really understand fully. So you have people constantly warning people, well, don't overwork it, because somebody else said don't overwork it, and somebody else said don't overwork it. And the people who are giving the majority of the advice in these groups are beginners who do not know what end of the paintbrush to paint with yet. Like it's crazy the amount of, and they mean well. I mean, they're not bad people. They're trying to help. They're being kind. But don't take advice from them. Just because they mean well doesn't mean it's good advice. Wow, that's life advice right there. Find somebody who is producing artwork that is much more advanced and get advice from them. They're going to give you better advice. But this idea of everything being overworked, I don't believe it's a thing. Okay, Pastels, you can overwork things too because it's so easy to overblend. Okay, Pastels, you guys can get grouped up with watercolor. You can, I don't know with you because I don't really work with pastels besides pan pastels. I'm not sure if it's possible to get to a point where you can't, like, you guys may be, you may get a buy on the overworking things. Acrylic artists, oil painters, colored pencil, graphite. Yeah, as long as you're using good technique, there's not really an overworking thing. It's I don't like it right now, so I'm going to continue working it. I may still not like it, and I may like it even less once I get to this point, but at least I learned something. That is of much more value than not finishing it here and not finishing it because you're afraid to mess up. So there we go. That is my rant on overworking. Let's see. That's a good question. Tessa said, when using Vistaprint, how do you keep your work from getting stolen? I'm not sure how that question goes. I've never had them steal it. I mean, anytime you post anything online, it could technically be stolen, but I've never had anything stolen from Vistaprint. Okay, so Vistaprint, I think this is where that question is coming from. People have talked about this. Every single print company that you use, you have to give them legal rights to print your work. And the way that that is worded in some of these contracts, people completely misinterpret it and say that Vistaprint is taking my right to print and use my work for whatever they want. That's not what they're saying. That's not what they're doing. I have never seen a case where Vistaprint or some other company took somebody's photograph that they uploaded it and started making prints and selling it or making, like, that's not how that works. Like, it makes zero sense. And I've seen people, because the contracts look like that's what they'll misinterpret what it actually means, but you have to give them the legal right to print your stuff. Otherwise, they can't print your stuff. Like, you are giving them the rights to make that print. And it's worded, I know what you're talking about, because there is a way, because I've read these complaints that artists have made where they're like, they have the right, all rights to my work to do whatever no, that's not what they're using it for. I've never seen, and I understand it's kind of how it sounds. I have never seen a single case where a company a trustworthy company that you made prints with then took your work and was making prints or selling it or giving it away. I've just never seen it happen. I think that that's one of those Chicken Little, the sky is falling things that a lot of people like to spread and freak out like it's the end of the world. It's kind of the AI thing all over again. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Okay, yeah, there's some bad stuff with AI. I'm not going to argue that, but it's not quite what, some of it's bad. But they make it sound like it's the end of art as we know it, and we are no longer, like, artists can't make a living anymore, and it's, people like to overdo. There's a monster under everybody's bed type thing. Let's see. But yeah, I forget how those are worded, those contracts, but it's not what they're trying to make it sound to be, and I've never seen a case where someone's work was stolen that way. If their work was stolen, it was likely stolen somewhere else. Carolyn said, would you mind telling us where you have your envelopes printed? Those are Vistaprint as well. Pharaoh, oh, come back, Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, I'm doing a painting of a local park and the green grass are looking fake. I have tried dark and light, but right now, new to acrylics, and mixing green is not going well. Any tips? So yeah, the green's probably coming out too green is, I would say, one of the more common things to have happen. It's like, whoa, that's green. Mix some red in with it. That's going to tone it down. Gray it up a little bit. Throw a little bit of black, a little bit of white, a little bit. We don't want it super gray. But when you go like crayon green, it doesn't look natural. And of course, the values matter more than anything. So whenever I'm doing, let's say grass, always 3 minimum, same thing, a bush, whatever, minimum 3 values. So I will start with the grass, like I would paint it almost black or like a blackish purple, something really dark. Then I'm going to go a little bit lighter. My next layer is for highlights on top of that, a little bit lighter. Lighter. A little bit lighter every single stage. Minimum 3, 4, 5, whatever is better. But you're building up, and when you do grass, you're going to get sort of rows. So the bottom row is going to be the longest, and they kind of get thinner as they go back. That's going to help you give perspective. But yeah, mix a little bit of red in with your green. That's going to help tone it down. And then usually with grass, that is one of those things where I might do a little bit of black and white just to gray it up, pull it so it's not quite so oversaturated. I'd have to see your photo to know for sure my back is angry. Okay. Pauline said, been in the dumps lately, I'm sorry, and I have no energy or ambition to do art, not even to make a birthday card. Any suggestions to get motivated again? You're not going to like this answer. Just do it. You don't have to be in the mood. You don't have to be motivated. Motivation is for people who don't accomplish much. And I understand being in the dumps and being depressed and just being like, I don't want to do anything. I want you to make a schedule for yourself for tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow? Are you working tomorrow? Are you whatever you're doing? I want you to list that out, and I want you to figure out which time period that you can fit 30 minutes to an hour, that you've got this free time that you might normally just sit and watch TV, because what do we usually do when we're in the dumps? We watch TV or play World of Warcraft. That's what I do when I'm sick. But I got a lot of World of Warcraft done last week. But schedule a minimum 1 hour, if you can. I mean, if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. But I want to say an hour, ideally, and make yourself sit there and do something. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't matter to me if it's good. That can help. My next thing that has helped me when I just did not want to do something, do it for someone else. Get excited. I want to surprise my mom with a painting. I want to surprise a friend who just moved into a new apartment, and I know it would mean a lot to them to have a painting from me because they would not expect it. I want to surprise them with it. That, for me, gets me like excited and want to finish something quickly because I can't wait to give it to them. I had a friend who works at the fish store that I go to, Aqua Studios over in, no, don't restart, over in the Colony. That's where I get like some of my coral and stuff. They, one of my friends works there, and he has a really long beard, and I wanted to paint him with his beard. Instead of being a beard, it was coral and then fish swimming around his head, and he loves octopuses, so I had an octopus wrapped around his hat. So I went in, and I had to get sneaky and try to take a photo. Here, Brandon, hold this for me. I'm taking a photo. The video's on my channel. You can watch that. But I took a photo with my cell phone, and then I went home, and I was so excited because it was a gift for someone else. I wasn't doing it for me, because it's hard when you're not feeling into it, and you're in the dumps or depressed or any of that. You don't care about yourself. Doing something for yourself is not going to get you up and doing something. Do it for someone else. Do something that you're excited to do it for, like you know that it's going to mean something to that person, to get a painting from you, to get a drawing, to get a card, whatever it is that you like to do. Something just to surprise somebody. Something that is so random. It's not for a birthday. It's not for anything. It's just a surprise thing. And that, for me, when I've been just like, nah, I don't feel like doing anything, that has really helped. That would be one tip. But yeah, waiting for motivation, you're not going to get very far. Schedule it. Write down, I am going to paint at this time. I am going to whatever at this time. It's not just helpful in helping you to get more work done. It's helpful in just getting your butt up and doing something. I mean, ask anyone who starts working out. No one wants to go to the gym. I don't work out anymore. And also, you know, it's funny for me to comment on that. I don't know why my pants don't fit, but you don't want to go, but you know you should. You know you're going to feel really good if you do go. You just have to schedule it and make yourself. And that is the same with art. And I think people have the tendency to think that art is always going to be fun and you always have to be in the mood to do it. No, that is absolutely not true. That's true for somebody who does it as a quick, loose hobby and they don't care if they're like just whatever, but I guess. But if you want to, like if it's important to you, you sometimes just have to make yourself sit down and do it. And usually once you get going, 10, 15 minutes into drawing or painting, maybe it's an hour in, you start to get a little bit more in the mood. But if you schedule it and say, just an hour, I have to sit here for an hour. If I want to sit here longer after, that's fine. But a minimum, I'm going to sit at this easel, whether I like it or not, for an hour, and I'm not allowed to get up and get myself another cup of tea for that hour. I will get so much more done. Talking from experience, can you tell? I will get so much more done and so much more like in the mood to work because I made myself do that first step, that first hour. Okay. A couple more questions. We are almost done. Also, I hope you feel better. Dolphin Soul said, working with Inktense blocks and even after drying, the paper is wavy. Is there a way to fix it or maybe using too much water? It's the water. Use a 300-pound watercolor paper. Expensive, but that's going to be less likely to warp. Or pre-stretch your paper, pre-size it. I bought those stretcher bars like a year ago and I still have not used them because I keep forgetting to buy the big bucket to soak them in distilled water the way I want to do. But not the things, but the paper. Pre-stretch the water, the thing can help. But yeah, my Inktense, I have a tendency to use way too much water and that stuff comes out pretty wavy. So using a 300-pound watercolor paper can minimize that quite a bit. So that would be my suggestion. Be prepared to sell your leg because it's expensive. Let's see. Fly Me to the Moon said, with regard to the lighting, how would you make that work with a photograph of, say, a landscape? How can you make it up? You don't really make it up. Well, you can when you're way more experienced. In the beginning, I would get up early in the morning or late in the afternoon and go take the photos yourself. It could be a local park. It could be at the sidewalk, a leaf sitting on a sidewalk. You get down. So your sidewalk is here and you get down to where that camera is here and you get that perspective of a leaf on a sidewalk. You can do that in the morning. Oh my God, that is going to look more striking than the most amazing landscape photo you have seen. That's going to impress people because you got the lighting. You don't have to go out to the Alps and get this amazing photo yourself in order to create good work. You want more control of that yourself. And I say, get out there and get the photo whenever possible yourself. Says the person whose favorite painting right now I found off Unsplash. But go out and take the photo early morning, late afternoon of a leaf on the sidewalk. Interesting perspective. So your camera's down, you're like, here's the sidewalk and you're down laying people. Your neighbors are going to think you're weird, but hopefully you're up early. No, everyone's going to be driving to work. They're going to see you. They're going to laugh at you. It's fine. Wear your bathrobe, make it better, and slippers. But get out there early morning, late afternoon, and get those photos yourself. That is my answer. Python said, why do beginners shy from oils? I'm the only beginner painter I know that started their journey with oils. Why do beginners shy away even though they're the best for beginners? Because they think they're hard. People have this idea that oil painting is the hardest medium. I don't know. It's a myth. Acrylics are far more difficult because they dry so fast. Oils, as long as you know when to let them dry, oils are way, way easier in almost every single aspect. It's just the dry time is a pain. And washing the brushes takes more work. But yeah, that is why. It's just like this idea that people think they're more expensive and they're not. I can start someone off with oils for about the same price within, $10, $15 of each other that I can start someone out with acrylics. So acrylics actually cost more because I really like the airbrush with acrylics, but we don't usually start people off with that. But yeah, it's just a misconception that a lot of people have. Also, 9:59, yay, good time. Let's see, what was that? Did somebody buy the butterfly? I didn't see it. Am I not getting notifications? I might not be. Did it go to my spam folder? I don't see that it had a bid. I had to recently change a bunch of settings on my email. Also, if you are watching Joey, Hat Trick Farms, I responded to your email and it just got bounced back at me. And I'm not sure if it's because I had to do something to do with my email, or I don't know why, or if we've had problems communicating with our emails, not liking each other in the past. So I tried to respond and say, yay, and I'm so glad that that painting to your goldfish got to you. Yeah, this is not even sending me any notification. Weird. Wait, no. Was it under social? I just saw something and then I lost it. Promotions or social? YouTube. No. That's YouTube. Promotions? No. Weird. Yeah, I can't see. Let me see. Because I'm not getting any emails. I'm glad you said that because I wouldn't even know someone did. Lachri. Click here for info. Yay, it did. We had 2 bids and I didn't even see either one of them. Well, congratulations to whoever just won that. I will get that matted and sent to you probably in like a week or 2 because I'm really bad about that. Ask Joey of Hat Trick Farms. Yeah, I'll have to check the auction things. I don't know why, but congratulations and thank you for bidding. I don't know why I am not getting that email. Spam? Nope. Yeah, I didn't even get the email that the auction started. So yeah, something is not working right here. Auctions. Nope. That's from January 31st. That's not it. I don't know. Social. No one cares. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. Yeah, I have no idea. I can look through my website, so it's fine. But congratulations and thank you. And I think we are done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out our moderators' channels. The links are in the video description. They have live streams, except for Nick. Although he's got fancy internet now. Maybe he can live stream. Thank you guys so much. And congratulations. Yeah, whoever won was whoever bid 75. Like, it went for 75. I can't see who it is. Did 2 people think they got it? I don't know. Oh, good. Hat Trick Farms here. So, yeah, I apologize for not responding. I didn't. My email got a weird thing, and I just was like, whatever. Thank you guys, and thank you for all the super chats. I will talk to you guys next week. I don't know what we're doing next week, but it'll be something fun. So, I'll see you then. Thank you so much.